So let's go ahead and get started today. Morning. What we're covering today, or we're beginning to cover, is lesson 11, which covers the topic of navigation. Up to this point, we have created a number of pages containing different types of content, and they're all separate. They're individual pages, separate from one another. And when you post them or upload them to the internet, what you want to be able to do is to link the pages to one another. And there are other options that we have available to us as well. So let's go ahead and get started with that. I have up on the screen at the moment, I have one of the finished pages that we already worked on, which is the Contact Us page. If I hover over the little logo here, Green Start, you'll notice it. You get the universal finger, which indicates that that is a link. This is what they will be using as the home page link. Other things that you can link to are, for example, an external link that I'll talk about more in a minute. So, for example, if I hover over the word meridian, you can see that it's separate from the others and that it's a different color. It's also, when you hover over it, there's an underscore. There's different ways that you can style that, but this is the default. And when I click on meridian, it opens to a new page, and notice that it goes to Google Maps. So that would be an option for us. So that's another type of link that we can create. We can also create links to emails, and that's what we will be doing as well. And later in the lesson, or today, what we're going to do is I'll show you, if we go to, if we hover over these, the nav bar and the different buttons. Now, if I click on home, it doesn't take me anywhere because I don't have an index.html that I've specified yet. But if I click on green news, notice that it takes me to the news page. Okay. If I go to green events, notice that we have added, and this will be one of the final things that we do, we're going to add a drop-down menu. So if I want to go to events, the event schedule, I can specify that. If I want to drop down to the class schedule, it will drop down to that. We're also going to add anchor tags. You may have noticed that on a number of single page websites or websites that contain fairly, scrolling, quite a bit of scrolling to access the entire content, that we can do return to top, or you could return to a different section. But if I click on there, it brings me back to the top of the page. So we'll be working on that. If I go to green tips, it takes me there. Nothing special on this page. And again, I can go back to Contact Us, or I can go to About Us, and it takes me to all those pages. And it's really critical that all of your links work. And some of you have already discovered, just when I'm publishing your MobiRise, that when you click on a link, that you get that 404 error message that it doesn't take you to where you thought it would. Okay, so let's go ahead. This is a preview of what it looks like. Also, before I actually create some links for you, one of the things that you should probably be aware of or know is that there are basically two different kinds of links. There are relative and absolute, and there are internal and external links. Generally, the internal links are the ones that are relative, and the ones that are external are absolute. So as we're creating the links, I will show you the difference between them. And it's critical that you understand the difference between them. Okay. So for example, as I'm clicking to all of these and going to Contact Us and About Us and Green Tips, these are all internal links, and we can use relative links to get there. On the other hand, if I want to go to the, let's see, where was it? It was not Green News. It was About Us. If I want to go, no. Contact Us. That's it. If I want to go to the Meridian link that takes us to Google Maps, that would be an absolute or external link. Okay. And there are some general rules that I have that I want to express and tell you about with these two applying to external links. So having introduced that to you, if there aren't any questions, I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, and we'll start with the, this is the finished page. But in order to first, let's go ahead and first start by changing the links up here in our nav bar. Now, remember that the nav bar, in effect, is, when we're creating new pages, since we've created these pages from, I'm sorry, I'm getting texts here. We're creating it from a template that the nav bar is a non-editable region. So the only way that I can change these links, since it is from a template, is that I need to go back to my template itself. And this is where I can change the links. So what we'll do here is we'll start at the beginning. And it might be easier for us if we switch to design view. And I'm going to just highlight the text, click and drag to highlight that. And what I want to do now is replace this hashtag down here in the bottom with the properties panel to, I'm going to put it to index.html, even though we don't have an index.html yet, but that will be our home page. So I'm going to go ahead and put that link in there, and I'll just put by hand, I'll put HTML. Let's see, what am I saying here? Index.html. Okay. Now, other options that we have for ourselves is that we can specify a target. By default, if you do not specify a target, it will replace the existing page with the page that you are linking to. So I suggest for all internal links or relative links that you just leave this alone. But for external links, which we'll get to shortly, you're probably going to want to select a blank page. And I'll explain why more later. So there, we've created a link to that. Now let's go ahead and go to Green News. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to highlight just the text in Green News. Notice that we have a placeholder, which is the hashtag here, or Octothorpe, or whatever you want to call it. Another way to create that link to make sure that I don't make any mistakes, and is kind of pretty nice. I can go ahead and I can delete that. Is that we have the little target, and we used that target before when we were inserting images. But if I go back to my pages here, I can go ahead and with this link, I can create, this is Green News. So I'm going to click on that target. I'm going to drag it to the Green News page. So let's go back. I don't want images. I want, let's scroll down here. I'm going to stop for a minute. Oh boy, that's going crazy. So let's scroll down. Let's twirl up here and make sure that the image folder is closed. There it is. There's Green News right there. So I'm going to click right here and I'm going to drag to the Green News page. And when I release, it should have taken me back there. So let's go back again. Let's click on here, highlight it, and notice that it's taken us to news.html. So that's the quickest way of adding a link so that you don't have to put it in by hand. Another way to do that too is to highlight what you want to use as a link. Not only can you use text as a link, but you can use images, which we will do shortly. I can also click on the folder here. And so I'm going to go ahead and click in Events. So I have my events page, and this will change, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm stuck in lesson 11 here. Where's my events page? There, right there. And I'll go ahead and I'll open that. So notice that that's another way of adding a link to here. So you can either put it in by hand, you can copy paste, you can use the little target here, or you can click on the folder and assign a link to it that way. So we don't have the travel page yet. That's part of lesson 12. So I'm going to go ahead and click on green tips. And I'm going to use the little target symbol here. And let's go to tips, green tips. Where is it? Tip template. There it is, down at the bottom. Just drag over the top of that. And it should have been put in here by default. So let's go ahead again and check to make sure. I'm going to highlight that. And there it is. It goes to tips.html. And I'm going to go ahead and use contact us and about us. So I'll do the same thing. Contact us. So I'll go ahead and I'll drag that there. And about us. Let's go ahead and use the target for that. We'll go to about us. So I've completed them all. So now what I want to do is I want to make sure that I save all. File, save all. And notice that I get this little window that pops up. It says update template files. So you have the option now, and I recommend that you follow it and go ahead and update. But all of the pages, the child pages that you have created from this template will now be automatically updated. Whether they're open or closed, it doesn't matter. So I want to go ahead and update them all. Okay. And now that they're all updated, and I can go ahead and close. And now that I've saved that, I can go back to some other pages and we can work on some things there. So let's go back to, actually, you know what, while we're in here, let's go ahead and let's put in our home page, a link to our home page. So that would be Green Start. So I can switch if I want. I can go back to live view. But while I'm in the template, I'm going to do that. If I highlight this, like so, if I highlight the text, do that again. Is it highlighted or not? Let me go ahead and let's select. Select the list item. I don't want the whole list item. I'm going to go back to, you know what? I thought maybe it would be easier. I'm going to go back to design view. And I'm going to highlight just the text. And I want this to be a link. So remember I created an index.html. Let's see if it's here. And there we go. I can also create a link that way. I can select index.html. And when I do, let's see if it's changed. And if I go back from design view to live view, notice that it really screwed things up. So what I need to do in order to make sure that the styling remains the same is that I need to go back to my CSS designer, and I need to create a new style for this. So this is going to be header, and then it'll be space. And then we're going to add a couple of features to this. We're going to go ahead and we're going to add and for H2, we're going to go ahead and we're going to specify an A link and a visited link for this. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have that. So with, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and add it. So, and make sure that it changes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to select green styles. and global. And I'm going to go ahead and add a new selector now. So this is going to be header. Okay, header, because that's where it's located. And it's going to be H2 space A : link. And then what I also want to do is put a space. And then for the visited, to make sure that that stays the same, I want it to be header H2 space A : visited. And I'll go ahead and hit the return key a couple of times. And now I need to add the properties to this. So I'm going to turn off show set. And what I want to do is under the color of the text, I want to specify inherited. Whoops, let's see. Let's go ahead and select color. I want inherited. Okay, notice that it went back. That's what we want to see. Under text decoration, we want none. So under text decoration here, I'm going to select none. Now, this is typically where you specify whether you want it on the hover state, whether you want it underscore, or if you want it to indicate that it's a link. In a normal state, you can specify underscore. This is where you can change the color and that sort of thing. So those are the two things that we wanted to change. So now when I hover over this in live view, notice that I have a link here. So that's the next thing that we did. So we've updated. Let me go ahead and, since again, headers are also a part of the template that are locked. So I want to make sure that I save all again. And again, it should bring up save changes to template. Yep. Okay. Change styles. Yep. Okay. And then I also want to make sure that it updates all the pages as well. Okay. So we're going to make sure update template files, update, cancel current update. No. What happened? What happened? Let me open these back up. So let's go ahead and open these back up. I hope that that didn't screw things up, but let's go back up here. And let's start by just opening up the template, since that was our first thing. Let's go ahead and open the news. Okay, let's go ahead and open up, I don't think we need to open tips. We do want to open up contact us and about us. So those are some of the major ones that we want to change. Okay, so let's look at, go back to contact us. Okay, so one of the things that we can do is we can now add links to email addresses. So for example, the first one that we have here is info@greenstart.org. So in order to turn that into a link, you have to highlight the text. You have to specify what you want linked, which part of the text you want linked. And now what we're going to do under the link itself, and this can be done a couple of different ways too, is since this is for an email address, is that I can go to insert up here, and then down here under HTML, I can specify an email link. Okay. So I want it to, I don't need to do it that way. That would be one way to do that. So I'm going to change that. I'm going to go ahead and I don't want to insert it before, after. I mean, I could have it wrap around it, but that is a way to insert a link. What I would prefer to do, though, is to simply highlight it and then come down here and then the universal code for that is mail to : and then you put the link. So I'm going to put in info at greenstart.org. Okay. And now when we go back, notice how it's changed. That the color, the default color that we've used for links now, for email links or any links really, is a blue. And that when we hover over it, we get the styling, which is the underscore. So now if we were to test this, let's go ahead and see if it works. I'm going to go ahead and go to File, and I'm going to use real-time preview. And I'm going to go to Google Chrome. Okay, save changes. Sure, why not? And it opened up here. So let's bring this down. So here's the info. And if this is working on your computer, when I click here, this should launch your whatever program you use for creating emails. So notice that it automatically added the to info at greenstart.org. And now I can put in the subject and the content, and I'm set to go. So that is, you know, I don't want to save that. That's how you create an email link. You can also do that. We can do that for this one here. So this could be, you know, where we want this to be emailed at elaine@greenstart.org. Okay, so, but this is in the browser, so I don't want to do that there. But let's do that down here. Let's go ahead and find it here in the page. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight it. And I'm just going to go ahead and put in it by hand now. So mail to, colon, and then no space. You want Elaine at greenstart.org. Hit the tab key and we're set to go. Now you'll notice that that has changed. And I'm just going to assume that it works, but it's a good idea every time you make a change like this that you test it in the browser to make sure that it does work. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to apply a link to an external link. Now, so far, all of these have been internal links that we've added. The one up here for the Green Start, the homepage, and also all of these links up here in our nav bar have all been internal or relative links. Now, this is what you have to consider when you want to link your page to an external website. So, for example, what they wanted us to do is to highlight this, okay, the word Meridian, and link it to a browser, okay, the Google Maps. So if I come back over here, I already have it for San Jose. That happens to be the location. If you want a more specific address, you can do that. But the way that you get the link is that, I mean, you could very well just go ahead and use this long string of this huge address up here, but that's not what you want to do. What you want to do is you want to come down here and you want to click on where it says share. Notice that it's much shorter. This is kind of an abbreviated link, and you can go ahead and you can copy the link. Now with that copied, I can go ahead and I can move this up here, and then I can come down here into the link. Okay, you have to make sure that the word Meridian is highlighted, and I can paste. Okay, so I'm going to test this in just a minute to make sure that it works. But the other thing is a couple things that when you do add an absolute link or one that is external, you have to add the HTTP : / or in this case for a secured website, HTTPS : / and then the rest of the URL. Okay, so that's critical. Because if you don't add the HTTP : or HTTPS : / it will assume it's a relative link and you won't be able to find it. So what I recommend that you do for absolute or external links, such as this, is that because by default, it will replace the old with the new. Sometimes, I don't know, maybe if you've done this, you can go down kind of a rabbit hole when you go to a website that you'll say, you know, you'll be go to a person or an institution's website and you go, oh, that looks pretty interesting. I think I'll click on that and it'll take you to another page. And before you know it, you'll have gone, you know, clicked on a few links and you'll discover, I want to go back to my original website. And if it's been continually replacing the old with the new, you're not going to know how to get back unless you go to the history panel or the up in your browser. So instead, what I recommend that you do is that for this link, we specify a target. And I'm going to select blank. And what this does is that when you click on that link, it will open up a new tab or a new page. And so you know, okay, I'm not in Kansas anymore. I have left the original website. I am now on a separate one. And if I want to go back to the other, I just go back and click on that other tab. So I'm going to go ahead and save all. Okay, let's go ahead and test this in a browser. So I'm going to go ahead and go File. And I'm going to go Real-Time Preview. Let's go ahead and test it in Google Chrome. And I got to bring it down here. So we're back here again. Notice that Meridian has been selected now. And when I click on it, okay, got it. Let's go ahead and click on it. So, whoops, wrong one. Click right here. It takes me to the San Jose page, which is what I wanted. And also notice it has opened up a brand new tab. Okay, so here's the new tab, and I can always just click on the tab and go back to Green Store. Okay, so that's important. You don't have to do that. I think it's good practice that you do with absolute or external websites that take you someplace else, that you use a blank target so that it opens up a new tab, a new page when you click on that link, so as not to confuse your viewer. Okie doke. So one more thing, we can also link images to whatever you want. In this particular exercise, we're linking images to their email address. It doesn't have to be that, and I'll show you how we can do that, change that in a minute too. So for example, if I want to take the image of Elaine here, and I want to go ahead and put in a new link. Notice that I have the link down here. Here's the source to the image, and here's the link. Well, what if I want to link it to my personal website? And maybe this would be her equivalent to her personal website. Well, remember that that's an external link. So I need to use an absolute link. So I'm going to put in HTTP : / and I'll put in Kmart66.com. Okay. And then at the same time, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to, let's see. No, you know what? It's not allowing me. That's weird. Okay. I need to talk about alt tags as well in a minute when you apply links or images. To this particular image, you'll notice that they have added an alt tag. It says Elaine to this image. And you typically want to do that to images. I should have explained that more about that in the last lesson. This is specifically for people who have sight, disabilities, particularly who are seeing impaired, is that they will not have images turned on. So when they come to an image, what they will get is an alt tag. And that alt tag would be according to, this. It will be, picture of a sunset, or it will be, in this particular case, it's the image of Elaine, Meridian Green Start president and CEO, so that they will know, oh, I can't see the image, but this is what it is directing me to. So here's the link, and here's the target down here. So let's, because this is external, it's to my personal website. I'm going to go ahead and select blank. I'm going to go ahead and save. Let's go ahead and save all. And let's go ahead and test it again, see how it works. So I'm going to go to File, Real-Time Preview. So let's go to Google Chrome. And let's bring the Chrome page down so we can see what's going on here. So notice as I move over the image, that I get, again, that universal finger, which indicates that that is a link. When I click on it now, notice it takes you to my website. So that's all there is to it. Okay. And again, I can always go back because it opened in a brand new tab to this one. Okie doke. So those are some of the links that we want to cover today. What else have we got here? Other things with image-based links when I click on it. Okay, let me go ahead and let's remove that link. Let's go ahead and change that back to default. And when I click on here, if I want to add a link, let me switch to design view. And that's what I want to see, that by default, when you click on an image, it links to the whole image. But instead, if you wanted only a specific hotspot, you have your options here. I can create a rectangular hotspot down here, and it's only visible from the design view. And so here's the rectangular one. Here is a circular hotspot, and here is a polygonal hotspot. So let's try a circular one. So for example, if I wanted just the little ball on her nose, just that little area to be the hotspot, then I could do that. So I could go ahead and I could create a link again. And you can have multiple hotspots on an image if you wish. And that's particularly useful for maps, so that if you have an image of a map and you have multiple links on that map, so that when you click on the various hotspots, it will take you to those places in Google Maps, for example. That would be ideal. Or maybe it could take you to different pages that you want, information pages that you want the viewer to see. So again, this is an external link. So http:// kmart66.com. Okay, and again, I'll target it as a brand new blank page. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to live view. And when I go here, notice that when I hover over most of the image, I get nothing. But as soon as I go over her nose, I get the link. So if you want to create, as I get some useful hotspots, that would be a way to do that. Also, if you want to create something called Easter eggs, little hidden items on your website that maybe, you know, people find by accident, that are sometimes humorous, you could do that. So that would be another way of doing that. Okay. Let's see. Let me pause for a second. Okay. I think I can get this done. What I want to do is I want to create internal links here that actually allow me to go up and down on a page. So what I need to do is I need to create what are called ID tags for this. So for example, for the schedule, I'm going to go ahead and I have, let's see, I have calendar. So that will be the top one, and the bottom one will be the classes. Okay, so we have two of these that we need to create, and then we need to create go to top. So I don't know that I'll finish this today since we're at, but we'll get it started here. So what I need to do first is I need to, on the individual page, I need to select the entire table. Okay, make sure that the whole table is selected. Oh, come on. There we go. So I don't want the whole section. I just want the table. There we go. Now I can click on the plus here. And so what we're going to do here is this is going to be the calendar. So I click on here. And what we have used in the past here, oh, come on. There we go. For classes, you use a period. For IDs, and you can only have one element attached to a specific ID per page. So, and to do that, you use the hashtag. So I'm going to go ahead and put that, a hashtag or octothorpe, whatever you want to call it, and type in calendar. Okay. Now I'm going to do the same down here for this one. So I'm going to select this one, and this will be, I'm going to select the entire, I'm having trouble here selecting parts of this. Why? I don't know. Let's go ahead again, and I want to select the entire table. And I'm going to click on the little plus sign here. So let's go ahead and again, and I'm going to name this one classes. So again, I need to use the octothorpe for the ID, and I'll name it classes. Okay. Okay, now I need to create what are the links that will take me to the top and the bottom of the page here. So what I'm going to do here is let's start at the bottom of the page, and I'm going to insert, let me go ahead and at the bottom of the section here, the table after the table, and I'm going to switch to design view. Let me see if I can do this without making too much of a mistake here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click. So I have right after the table, I'm going to go ahead and hit the return key. And what I want to do is I want to, it should be a new paragraph tag, and it is. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and highlight this so where it says no break. And I'm going to say return to top. Okay. And I'm going to come back. And there it is. Okay. Now I can highlight this. Whoops. Oh, let's go back down to the bottom here. Highlight it. I want this to be centered. So I need to go to and create a, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create under text. So let's go to designer, or just, I don't know if I have to create a new class or not for this. Let's go to current and let's go to type. And this is the paragraph, but it will center everything. And I don't want everything centered. So I need to probably create a class for this. So I'm going to go ahead and create a class called center. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and make sure that I have green styles selected. Come on. I'm going to select all green styles and global. And then I'm going to go ahead and create a new class so that it will center the paragraph here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that. And it's going to be just .cnt, oh, come on, CTR for center, okay? Come on. Let me see if I added it or not. No, I didn't. So let me try again. Let's go back and remove that. I thought I did. So let's go ahead and create a brand new selector. Make sure that I have green styles and global selected. And I want .ctr. Hit the return key a couple of times. There we go. Now that's there. And then what I want to do is under the text is I want to make sure that I select under text align that I select center. Okay. Now what I do down here at the bottom, and let's go down to the bottom, and I don't know why I don't see this. Let's go, we're in design view. Let's go to live view, make sure that I see that. Down here. Oh, come on. That's one of the things with Dreamweaver that really bugs me. So I have a number of paragraph breaks that I don't want here. I don't know why that is. And that was after the table. For some reason, it didn't save that. So I'm going to put in go to, let's get rid of 2 of these. Why that happened, I don't know. And under the first one, I said that I wanted go to top. Maybe somehow a return to top. There we go. Okay. So let's scroll down. There it is. And now we go ahead and we add the class to that center. .ctr. Hit the tab key, and now it's centered. Now, in order to link this, okay, we're going to need to go back to the template, and we're going to have to add an ID tag to the very top row so that it gets us, that when we click on that link, it will take us to the top of the page. And we'll do the same right down here. So at the bottom of the next one here, we're going to add a go to or a return to top here as well. So we're running at the end of our time today, because I do have an important meeting I have to attend. Part of it is just to let you know, is that in the fall, they're going to probably have hybrid, so that we'll be, some of the classes will be returning on campus. So that's what I need to make sure that I attend today. And then we'll complete this. There's a few more things that we'll be doing in here too, is that we're also going to go back and we're going to revise our nav bar so that when we go to events, we have a drop down And it can specify which of the anchor tags we want it to go to the calendar or the classes. And that will take a little bit of work. That's probably the hardest thing in this particular lesson. When this lesson is completed, I'll want you guys to probably publish it, and we'll wait. And if you want to wait until lesson 12, you can. I don't recommend it, just in case there's problems publishing it, so I can give you full credit. So if there aren't any questions today, that's it on navigation, adding links and the different kinds of links today. Okay. Any questions? No? No? Okay. Well, then I'm going to say goodbye for now. I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording, and everybody have a good weekend, and we will continue with this on Tuesday. Okie doke. Okay. Bye-bye.